Hello and welcome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of Pipeline to Profit. Today, we are going to be deep diving into pipeline. And we have some pipeline experts with us here today. We have Kasia, our product manager. We have Ryan Bowman, a huge advocate for the pipeline and pipeline expert. And then we have Josh Yeager, who also uses pipeline in his business. Let's just go around and do a quick intro of everybody with Kasia first.
Hi everyone, my name is Kasia. I'm a product manager here at Housecall Pro. My squad is responsible for a couple of products, online booking, the lead form, and pipeline. And today I will be talking about pipeline.
Awesome. Ryan.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Bowman, resident contrarian and pipeline advocate. I'm sure some of you have seen me at some point complaining about anyone who's not using pipeline, but consider myself a super user, all industries, all markets, and huge fan. Happy to help any way I can.
Awesome. And Josh, are you here with us? Okay, we'll come back to Josh after Kasia does her demonstration. And if you were here for Monday and Tuesday, then you will know that we are doing a 25% promotion on bundling the sales proposal tool, service agreements, and pipeline. So if you are interested in adding any one of these features, then we are going to put a link in the chat, and Carissa has pinned a message at the top of the chat with the link. Also, this meeting is being recorded and it will be available to watch on demand after we're done. Yes, Aaron, the meeting is being recorded. I see that question at least 10 times during each session. Every single webinar we do is recorded and it is always shared and will be available for you to watch and for you to share with your staff later on. So great question. Okay, Kasia, without further ado, let's get into pipeline.
Okay, awesome. So let me share my screen. Share. Perfect. So today I'm going to show you how a pipeline works and how you can use pipeline to manage your estimates and track your opportunities and also increase your conversion. And I will start with some basics. So I will talk, what pipeline is. I will show you the pipeline boards, then we'll move to automations, and then I will show you a bit of reporting functions, and we'll also do a small exercise. So I will create an estimate and we'll follow its life cycle with pipeline today. So let me start with talking a bit about the pipeline boards. So pipeline consists of 3 boards, the lead board, the estimate board, and the job board. And today we will concentrate on the estimate board, but the boards are quite similar in how they are designed and how they work. So the basic concept is that we have different columns that reflect different stages in the life cycle of an estimate or a job or a lead. And within those columns, we see those cards or those tickets, and each card is an estimate. So if we click on an estimate, we can see a preview. This preview offers like the essential information about the estimate, but also you can use this link to open a full view of estimate. But this preview is here so that you can do a lot of work inside of pipeline without the need of like going back and forth. And we also have filter options if we want to find some particular estimates that meet some particular criteria. And we have search that we can set up to, for example, look by customer name or employee name. And as I said, the columns reflect the life cycle of an estimate, which also means that if we move the estimate from a column to another column, it will trigger an action. So let's say we have an unscheduled estimate that we want to schedule. So if we just move it here, it will trigger the small pop-up window where we can use it to schedule this estimate. This means that a lot of actions can be taken directly from pipeline. So you can treat it as like this hub where you can manage your estimates and where you can also see the status of each estimate and have a good outlook on like what's happening with all of your estimates. So this is like the essence of how the board works. We also have like the counter of the total value, and we have the counter of items, and we have also a table view if you prefer to view your estimates this way. So this is like the first building block of pipeline, which you can use to track all those opportunities. But the additional thing that you can do with the boards, you can also customize them because the columns that I just showed you are the like the standard columns. But if your flow is different and you have some different important milestones in the life cycle of an estimate, you can add your own columns. So you can like add completely custom columns, or you can enable some of the columns that are here, and you can just turn them off or on. So the idea was that we wanted to create a board that matches as much as possible like your actual business workflow. So you can use the custom boards to do just that. And also, as I said, you can create your own completely custom columns. So this is the board part, but there's also another crucial aspect of pipeline, and those are the automations. So automations are a set of rules that you can set up that if an estimate or lead or a job matches a certain criteria, an action will be triggered, and this action is usually sending a message to your customer. And this message can be email, it can be a text message, and you can use those automations to just do work for you. So things like, let's look at the example of estimates. So with estimates, the crucial thing is like once you set up an estimate and send it to your customer, you want your customers to see it and to approve an estimate or one of the options in the estimate. But if you do it manually, you have to like remember that the estimate was sent out, that nobody responded. You have to call the customer. You have to think about everything yourself. But with automation, you can just turn them on and let them do that work for you. So those are the key estimate automations, so the follow-ups. But we also have automations that mostly work as like a mechanism that cleans up your pipeline. So you can mark some of the estimates as declined if after like a couple of days and third follow-up nothing happens, you can automatically decline it, or you can archive the items so they don't create a mess on your board. So those are also automations for that. And let's have a closer look at those follow-up estimations. So here we have the toggle that we can either enable or disable an automation, and this little pen icon allows you to customize this automation. So let's click it, and here there's this weird 0 value, but it's like a hacky way to send it immediately, which I'm using only for this demo. But you can select you send out the estimate, and you want this automation that after 2 days remind your customer that this estimate is waiting for their approval. So you can select 2 days here. You can also add conditions. For now, those are only tags, but you can say, okay, I want to send this automation only for estimates that have a tag, whatever tag you want. So you can add this variable to target those automations, and you can also customize the message here. We also recently added an AI plugin that can write this for you. So you can say like, oh, I want a very convincing message to my customer to look at the estimate and get it approved. And this will generate the actual message here, and it will also use the variables. So we allow variables here, so you can use those different variables such as company name, first name, company phone, to make this message more personal. So in this case, it will say hi, customer first name, then it will use your company name, and it will use your company name here again. So this is how you customize it, and after you're done, you can save it. So let's see how all of this works together. And before I start, just a reminder that I put this automation on like a immediate, so it will be triggered after 2 seconds. Usually it's like after 1 day or 2 days, but for the demo today it's set to 2 seconds. So I will create a estimate. I will find my own email. Let's use this. Let's add a service. Okay, let's save it. You can also add an option here. And let's go and check out the estimate number 90 in pipeline. So now that the estimate is created, it will pop up here in the unscheduled column, because once as you saw, I have not scheduled it, so it shows here, and I can say, okay, I want this estimate to send it to the customer. So if I pull it here, it will ask me, okay, do you want to send this estimate to this customer? So this is my work email, and I will send it. Okay, and now it moved to this column because the status is now sent, because this I triggered the send estimate action. So hopefully in a minute, I got it. So as a customer, I will receive an email with the logo of your company, and I will be able to view this estimate, and then I will be able to approve it. And hopefully in a couple of seconds, it will also trigger the other automation that it should send the follow-up. And the follow-up is like it uses the copy that I have presented here. So this automation should trigger now, and it should send this message. So a quick reminder, this is the estimate that we want you to approve. Okay, it's not showing now. Maybe my hacky way of using 2 seconds is not working, but I will double check it again. And in the meantime, let's have a look at the reporting. So I pulled some, maybe let's first see data here. So as I said, Pipeline allows you to monitor at a glance where all of your estimates are, like where you should pay attention, where in the process of the life cycle of estimate each estimate is. And on top of it, it allows you to automate certain actions that you can like save time and just use those automations to get your estimates approved. But also, additionally, it's not like a part of the Pipeline product, but just wanted to show you that whatever happens with the estimate in the Pipeline, it's also visible in the reporting. So you have access to different reporting about estimates, so conversions by day, week, month, conversions by employee, or like, let's say, conversion by lead source. So if we click here, we can see what is for example, the conversion rate for referral as a lead source versus the estimates that don't have a lead source. And I will show you a couple of screens from like with real data. So here is, for example, like estimate conversion by employee. So you can track how like the estimates that are assigned to different employees, and you can see like the one value, and you can see the conversion rate. You can also see, this is, for example, the report with several lead sources, and as well you can see the conversion rate and the one value, or this is just the conversion. You can see like how it changed month to month. Okay, let me double check if now I got no, I didn't get it. So I don't know, I think that the hacky way to send it after 2 seconds actually doesn't work, but it works with real data, like send it after 2 days or 1 day or 3 days. And just maybe one final thing about what's happening with Pipeline now, just a small look forward. So we're working on adding some more robust and allowing for more customization for pipeline automations. So you'll be able to add more conditions and also customize messages per different conditions. So you can say that, for example, for the leads that I get from Google, I want to have a different message than for the leads I get from my website. And you will be able to do other customization. And the other thing that we are working on is a new board in Pipeline that will show invoices, and that will allow you to track status of your invoices and also add automations that will help you collect money for the unpaid invoices. And this is the end of my demo.
Okay, I'm so excited for the invoice section of the Pipeline to actually be there. Now that jobs and invoices are actually like two separate entities now, you can have multiple invoices in just one job with progress invoicing. So that's going to be a huge game changer. What is like, I know you can't give us an exact time, but what's the ETA on that?
We for sure will start to the implementation probably in August. So it depends how well the implementation will go, but I think maybe late September we'll be ready for like an alpha.
Okay, awesome. So if you're a super pro and you're watching this, then hit me up if you want to be on the alpha for the invoices in the pipeline. Cool. Awesome. We do have a few questions, and both of you guys can answer, Ryan. So the first one we have here from, let me see if I can share this. Okay. Yes, it worked. From John. We are definitely not using pipeline properly. I'm having a hard time tracking my technician's calls and following up with the estimates he writes. Any possibility that the automatic bookings are categorized incorrectly?
Yes. So when you say automatic booking, I'm assuming you're talking about online booking, where they go on and select and put it there. If you have that, like check your online booking settings. If they're booking it as a job, your follow-up on your pipeline would look a little bit different, your estimate follow-up. So if you booked it as a job and then he created an estimate from that, you would have to look in a couple of different places depending on how you did that. Easy to fix. Tricky to diagnose from this question, but 100% is probably really easily fixed in about 15 seconds in either your online booking settings or a little aha moment on pipeline.
Yeah, there's not enough information here, but like, for example, if he is making a job, you guys are going out, it's a job, and then he's making an estimate on that job, then that's going to be in two different sections on the pipeline. But great question. And then I saw you answering this in the chat, Ryan, from Samantha. How do you find that report? Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys are talking about there in the chat?
I think Kasha Kasha had up the estimate conversion reports from that reporting, and that's what she was asking about, I think. So inside reporting, you can look at the estimates reports. There's some default there. It's like the owner dashboard, which is pretty cool, or there's options to build out custom, but the one that was pulled up was that estimate conversion filtered by like date and employee. And so that's all inside the reporting tab. And you can either use the dashboards that are already pre-populated, or there's options to customize your own as many layers of reports as you need.
Yes, and all the reports I was showing are the standard reports. So you'll find them in your reports section as well.
Oh, she said the report showing money from automation. So on your pipeline, it's a little blue banner up at the top, and it'll say so-and-so won this many jobs equaling this many dollars, won as a result of pipeline automations. And it's a 30-day to date that populates constantly. So as those automations are working, that little dashboard is always, it's not even a dashboard, it's just like a little blue banner, like just telling you like, look, this is what we've done, and we've paid for it's paid for itself a bunch of times.
Yeah, and just like to explain one thing. So this banner that shows like how many different like estimates converted and what was the revenue you got is only showing data from automations. So if you like pull items manually on the board and like you in a lead or you approve an estimate, that data will not pull to that reporting, because we are limiting it only to the let's say leads that were won through an automations, because we are marking, okay, this lead triggered or this estimate triggered an automation, and only if automation was triggered, then we'll add that data to that banner that shows like the revenue and the items converted.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. And I'm glad that you called that out. Because I have seen some questions and just discussing with pros what makes up those numbers? How are they coming up with that dollar amount? So thank you for that. Okay, Brian, we use Pipeline and we have had issues with the automated messages being sent to customers as late as 12 a.m. Is there a way to make limitations on how late a message can send? I'm not going to lie, I've heard this many times of just issues, not even with pipeline automations, but other text message reminders, like invoice automation reminders as well.
I think this happens less with email for some reason. I don't have enough like hard data on that to pull that up and actually show you. But for some reason, I think with email, it happens less. But if you're SMS heavy, something about how that works, it is harder to control.
Yes. So as Shana said, it was an issue in a couple of places in HouseCalls Pro, but campaigns have already rolled out like an improvement that limits the send times only to business hours that are set up for the Pro. So we're going to apply the same limitation for Pipeline, so that whatever automations are triggered at whatever hour by Pipeline, they will be sent out to customers only within the hours that are set as your business hours.
Okay. That's a big one. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's already in place, or that's something that's going to?
No, like we have like a working solution for campaigns, and we are taking the solution and we're going to apply it to Pipeline. So it's not released yet, but it should be released in August.
Okay, amazing. Really good question, Brian. Thank you for that. Okay. One more question I see right here from Michael. Let me see if I can share for everybody to see. So if jobs can start at 5 a.m., customers should receive texts at 5 a.m.
I mean, if you hit on my way, probably, right? Like if you want to notify that you were on your way.
If you schedule that message if you schedule the job at 5 a.m., they're going to get a text confirmation that you scheduled. So yes. Same with On My Way. What we're talking about is the automated text messages like, hey, you had this estimate, and it's like send number 2 for the pipeline automations. And some of those messages are going at really wonky times where the customer is getting offended. Hey, why would you guys text me at midnight? That's so unprofessional of you. Sorry, it's my system. The automations are going out in the middle of the night. I hope that answers your question, Michael.
I think his business hours are at 5 a.m. I think might be what he's asking, like if his business hours are set up from 5 a.m. to, whatever that is. Technically, with the logic we're talking about, yeah, if you have your business hours set from 5 a.m. until then. But if I'm not mistaken, and I just want to make sure I haven't seen this before. You can still set your business hours Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, but you can schedule a job for your team to head out at 5 a.m., right? So your business 100%. Hours in the schedule, I don't think are linked like that. Like you're not going to be limited to when you can put someone on a schedule just because of business hours. Well, I answered my own question because you have after hours calls all the time. So those morning calls aren't necessarily affecting your business hours or vice versa.
Absolutely. Okay, so Ryan, I'm sure you are so excited to take us all through Pipeline and your suggested workflow for people just getting started with Pipeline.
I think it's say suggested workflow is kind of a weird way to say, because I've made jokes periodically. Every single industry, every single company, every market, no two people are doing anything the same. ever, right? So the way I think it would work in my mind, like when I turn on Pipeline, and I think it never is that way for two people twice. So I think the thing to really focus on for anyone who's even interested in it or considering it, everyone's like, oh, I don't have time to set that up. I don't have time to learn anything new. Pipeline is zero of that. You don't have to put anything in or learn anything or do anything new. The minute it's active, everything that exists in your House Call Pro is just visible now, right? So if I could give any advice, it's if you're feeling like you're looking at reports and I don't know where to find this and I don't know where to find that, when you turn on Pipeline, you go look at your columns, that can be a little bit overwhelming because it just visualizes everything that you've had to pull multiple reports for all this time. And it puts it all in one place. Like you'll look and say, what the heck are all these unscheduled estimates? I thought we did this 1 week ago. So it does in that first little bit of time, like uncover things that you thought might have been happening, which is good, but stressful in the moment, right? But it requires no setup until you get comfortable. Like if you're like, man, I wish it would do this. All right, let's do it. Let's set up a column and add it in. I have some clients that are really, really, really red tape heavy. They have like months and months of permitting requirements. So instead of those jobs getting lost in like sticky notes or emails, they have a column where you manually move it, where it says waiting for permit in progress. So it requires no setup, but it is the most powerful visualization of every step in your business, no matter what it is. You can put it in front of you. So my suggested process is just turn it on and then it will sort itself out organically. And the worst thing you could possibly ever have to do in terms of setup is building out your automations. And even that is so stinking straightforward. 15 minutes max. And it's paying for itself in the first 24 hours.
Yep, absolutely. And if anybody has listened to an episode of the Super Pro podcast, $3 to $8 million companies are like raving about Pipeline. They couldn't run their business without it, or they don't remember how they were able to run their business before Pipeline. Because in this day and age, the automations are so necessary and so powerful. Why are you spending time sending out each individual estimate when it can just follow up automatically? And if that is the one thing that you take away from this webinar, from this meeting, is follow up on your estimates automatically.
And even still, like snowballing on what Shayna said, because there's a lot of conversation. I see this all the time too. They're like, well, I don't want to use AI generated responses. Like I want my customers to hear from me. That's great. But there's no reason that you can't use Pipeline also, right? Like make sure that air cover is running for you while you're out doing the thing, right? Like there's no problem in a couple of gentle touch points, and they're not every 2 minutes. You can adjust it as much as you want, every 1 day, every 1 week, every month, how often you want them to hear from you. You can tailor those responses so they don't seem AI generated if you're against that. I know a lot of people are, but I think it's not a matter of, are my salespeople going to follow up or am I going to use Pipeline? It is 100% and. Like this is just additional air cover and support and organization for your team. And even if you're not using the automations, let's say you just hate it and you want your people making calls, I don't know how the heck they're managing follow-ups and a routine follow-up process without seeing it right now as it is. Like it's even taking the AI out of it, the visualization itself is worth the investment.
Right. And putting that into those columns like that. So John had a question, and I think that there is some confusion on what gets added to the pipeline. Ryan, were you going to do a screen share? Because if not, then I can.
I didn't set myself up for screen share, but I can really quick if you need to. If you want.
I'll pull up mine right here.
Okay,
so everybody should have the pipeline board at the top, whether you have access to Pipeline or not. And it'll say, hey, add it. Again, we're giving 25% off. And then for the bundle, but outside of that, you'll be able to go into this tab and do a free 30-day trial of Pipeline. Anyway.
Everyone do that.
Yes, do that. You should at least try it out. So you have the board view, which is the pretty standard view, and you also have the ability to have access to leads. So without pipeline, there are no leads. How are you tracking and following up on leads where it's not an estimate, it's not a job, it's, hey, this could be a potential customer. You should still be tracking that and tracking your conversion rates on your leads. And did we talk about the lead form?
No.
Okay, so that I think is one of the most powerful automations within the pipeline is the lead form. So everybody has access to the lead form. It's in your settings. Help me. Here it is.
Yeah.
Under booking. And most everyone has a contact us section on their website. And if customer fills it out, they have questions, that sends an email to your inbox that someone has to manually follow up on and add that information to the customer database and how long before the customer gets followed up with. With Pipeline, you can add this lead form. It will, let me go into the automations. The automations for the leads, when a lead status changes to new lead, so customer fills out this lead form on your website and it becomes a new lead inside of the pipeline. So when lead status changes to new lead and its lead source is not Thumbtack, so everything else, then send an SMS to the customer and update status to second contact. What that means is you can customize the message and the customer gets the message. Oh, dang it. You can't see it because I don't have a number, but you can do an email, a text, or an email and a text. They're getting followed up with immediately when they're filling out that contact form. So if you're still playing with the email that comes from whatever other software on your website, then you're living in the past. Like, get with the automation, and this is a huge benefit of having Pipeline. Then the other automation for, let me exit this. The other automation for, bear with me, the estimate section is just following up when the estimate status is sent. So you make an estimate, and I know Kasia was going over this, but just to reiterate, anything that you make is showing up in the pipeline. So a new estimate, a sent estimate, an estimate that is in progress. I know a lot of people do not schedule their estimates, but everything that's locked on here, as far as these are the same statuses: unscheduled, scheduled, in progress, completed, sent, approved, and rejected are all, it's going to move them through automatically. So
yeah, and maybe one more thing, if we can go to automations for a second, and to the estimates automation. Here, there's also this toggle called Use Smart Recommendations, and when it's enabled, it will use our data that we have per industry to use the best converting cadence for estimate conversion. So we are checking like after like how many days send the first follow-up, the second, and the third. And based on the data we have from like everyone, we know like, okay, the best conversion is if you send for this industry is if you send it after X days. So if you don't want to like test it yourself and just tweak it with different cadence, so after how many days you want to trigger the next automation, you can use this smart recommendations, and it will like optimize the cadence for you. So I would recommend actually using this, because the idea behind it is like we have optimized it for you for the best conversions, so you don't have to worry about it.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So this is science. This is hundreds of thousands of data points based on your industry, your season, whether it's, okay, it's December, it's winter versus it's July and it's summer. These are going to look different as far as like how often it's sent based on what industry you have selected or identified as inside of your House Call Pro account. So those could change. Maybe it's 2, 3, and 5 right now, but at a different point in the seasonality, it could be 3, 5, and 7 later on. Right, Kasia?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So trust the science. If you do not know how to get started, leave it on that. And I do want to call out, because this happened to Amanda Kelly, who was on with us yesterday. If you have pipeline, you turn off pipeline, and then you add it back onto your account. And I think even if you're adding it for the first time, those automations are going to hit right away on everything.
They are automatically on right when you turn it on.
Yes. So
but depending on where you are on the whole thing, I turn it off first thing so that I didn't just tell someone, go on pipeline, you're going to love it. And all of a sudden their customers start getting messages and I didn't tell them that. But if you're like, look, I need some help right now, and you turn it on, it starts happening.
So how do you avoid that from all of those automations going out to, say you have an estimate in a sent status for more than one day? These are going back to February, just for example. How do you avoid?
It won't retroactively go back as soon as you turn it on and send a huge big bulk thing. So any activity that happens from the time you're live moving forward, it will start triggering. But it's not going to dig through your whole system and be like, oh my God, these have been sent for 7 months, I have to send them again. It's only, I call it like Newton's law of House Call Pro. Like that estimate is at rest unless acted upon, and it will remain at rest. So it's not going to just dig them all out. But if you go look at it and you bump it up to sent, or any estimate you send that morning, those smart recommendations do start happening.
I actually think that they do go from the past and then push out forward.
No,
they're not.
No, because if you have like loads and loads of items and you would enable it, then we would like spam everyone. So it works as Ryan described it.
Okay, so as soon as you turn on the automations, anything that you send after that, then it will pick up on moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, really good to know.
This is silly, but also maybe useful for anyone listening who's considering this. Like we do something in my biz, we call it like that dang receptionist, like the new girl. We call it like the new girl or dumb receptionist, where we turn on pipeline when it looks overwhelming and you're like, oh my God, all these estimates, what am I going to do? I move them all to a column that's just called staging area, right? We build out all of your custom automations exactly how they're supposed to be. And then we just drag them and drop them to send again. So we re-engage all of those estimates that have been sitting for 7 months, right? Because what's the worst that could happen? If a customer is like, oh my God, I already told you never to call me again, you get to say, oh my gosh, we hired a new girl, that Ryan, she's such a ding dong. Yeah. But 100% of the time, when we do that, yeses start coming in within the first couple of hours. And so I don't care. I'll be the goofy receptionist to go ahead and first of all, capture some revenue for you. And second of all, you've triggered those automations for everyone in your system and it's active until the customer says yes or no. So I will 100% be the goofball receptionist to go ahead and have all of those automations working for you, because like I said, 100% of the time that I have volunteered to be the new girl, it has equaled money in your pocket right then.
Yeah, that's That's really good advice. So if you're looking to get jobs on the calendar, then you might want to turn on Pipeline. Any other super important call outs that you guys want to make for the automations specifically for either leads, estimates, or jobs? For anyone who's brand new to Pipeline, hey, you need to know.
Maybe just that when you start and they are automatically enabled, each automation has a generic message added. So those generic messages were obviously optimized to convert as best as possible. But if you want to add your personal touch, or you want to experiment with a completely different approach to what's actually being said in those messages, just you just click on this pencil and check out what if you click here on the customize message. But let's
Let me
see
get
it.
the email.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, this is the text that your customers will receive. So if you want to write something completely else, you can do it here. But it's not.
Definitely you want to update this to fit your company culture and your voice of how you would speak with your customer. And the variables in here are amazing inside of your automated emails. So you can address your customer by their first name. You can reference their address. Like, this is awesome, the customization that you have in here. We do not have the formatting yet. This is meant to be very basic, very simple, easy for everyone to use and get set up on their account. We do have the variables, but no formatting.
Yeah, but that's a good call out. But the campaigns, the campaigns product has the formatting, so we're also exploring if we can borrow that piece of code and add it to Pipeline. So it might be something that will happen.
Maybe in the future. It's something that the product team is investigating and working on. The other thing that I wanted to call out here was just to reiterate of how these jobs get onto the pipeline. When you make a new job, so let's see, where's my new job field? When you make this brand new job from new job, it's going to show up there on the pipeline. It's I'm not
Yeah, the first column in the standard job board is unscheduled, so there's no new job. It's
It'll automatic. It should fall into that first column on every stage. I usually explain it also like a kind of like a relay race. Like, it starts in that first column and then moves forward from there. And as long as that first column stays one of the native House Call Pro columns, the automations will trigger every step. If you create a column at the very beginning where the automations aren't native, it'll live there forever until you act on it manually. So that first column is pretty important.
Yes. And then you do have this option for the new job column to be turned on, where any new job can drop into that column. So here's your customized boards section on here. And just like Ryan was saying, all of these different unique boards you can create. There are a lot of them that are already created based on super common boards that people were customizing. And then you can turn it on and add different statuses to that column. But the ones that you see here that have a lock on them are automatic by the system. So if a job is unscheduled, just like it would show up here on your schedule in your unscheduled section, all of the jobs that are here unscheduled are also in your pipeline as unscheduled jobs. So it's the same of where it shows up. And then you can archive jobs, estimates, and leads from your view on the pipeline so that you're not just seeing all jobs that were ever created, and that you can do that within the automations section. Inside of the settings, it's pulling you to your main settings that you can edit in here.
There were a couple of questions about the archive, and there's a couple of things, like it'll archive it on a certain date. Like if it hasn't, after X amount of follow-ups, if there's been no response or no answer, automatically archive. And then expiration dates will do that too. So if you have an expiration date built into your estimate, whichever happens first, if the customer just hasn't engaged in X amount of time, or you haven't, again, Newton's law, like actively started it back at the top of communications or expiration date, it'll move it into your archive file.
And then let's go to questions in the chat and make sure that everybody's questions get answered here. I'll keep my screen share up just in case we need to show something. Let's go to Q&A. Okay, Diego. How do you edit the number of days for the automation? It's grayed out on my account. I've been using Pipeline for a year now.
So your automations are different in your leads and your estimates and your jobs. So make sure you're choosing which I say module or bucket, like which tab.
Yeah, but also they are grayed out when you're using the smart smart recommendations. If you turn off this in estimates, the smart recommendations, and you hit this, then you can change the number of days.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening, Diego. They're grayed out because from the smart recommendations, we're deciding those for you. So just toggle it off and you'll be able to choose your days. Okay, we answered that. Can you customize what shows on the job on the pipeline?
Not like you can in the schedule. That little preview card is pretty much what. So like, for instance, Shana, if you could see on that, from that board view, like the tags or job, I think someone mentioned job name, that may have been who that was, but what you see here.
Yeah, but we are working on adding more info in. It will not be like fully custom, but we want to add some more essential information both to the card. I mean, maybe less to the card, but more to the preview. So if anyone has any suggestions what kind of data would be helpful there, we are open to suggestions because we are working on this now.
Okay, awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. So that's a really good question. And you can filter here what you want to display in your view of the pipeline instead of all of the things with certain employees' jobs or tasks.
And you can maintain those filters in your account too. So if you have, like, if you have a sales team or for that specific role where they're looking at only their things, like I have a team of 11 salespeople and I sat down with each of them. We built out their pipeline visibility for them so that every day when they look at it on their app, they're scrolling and they're seeing only what's theirs. They don't have to, there's no excuse of we'll have to filter it every time or there's too much. No way. You can save that view for only what's relevant to you. And you can do the exact same thing in the reporting dashboards too, but don't even get me started on that right now. I got it.
Okay, really good advice on that.
Anything that you could possibly anything you could possibly want to see, you can narrow it down to specifically what you want to see, and you can filter it all day, every day, or you can create a static view per person. There's literally no reason. There's no negative reason on Pipeline, in my opinion.
Okay, let's look at this one from Gail. I have also needed to move some to scheduled because they have a future appointment. When I dropped in the column, it prompts to reschedule, but that's not needed. Can I drop it there without choosing a date?
Let me think. So if it has an appointment on the schedule already and you're just needing to add a second one, I'm wondering, so when you say move it to scheduled, I would say move it from where?
It
Like
should
maybe-
move automatically. So when you're scheduling that job, then
unless it was already in progress or something, which is what I'm thinking. Like if they were in progress or something and they needed to add an appointment, I'm wondering.
So I think that the general inquiry here is, can I move these items and not perform that action? So what if I wanted to move it, from in progress to scheduled? We already have them on the calendar in another job. So I just want to put the status as scheduled. Can you do that, Kasia?
Not really. So I think you would have to like do a workaround from the like estimate or the job level, because in Pipeline it's now built in a way that when you move it to a column, the prompt to trigger an action is shown. So we currently don't have like a opt out, like move without the action. So I mean, I guess it really depends like on what you're trying to do, but usually like moving from column to column means applying an action to the item.
So what's kind of a workaround way to get out of that? Would it be to do it from the actual schedule, to move that to scheduled?
I mean, I'm not sure that I remember understand like the case described here, but
yeah, I think this is a unique situation where it's, if I understand, they have a future appointment and it says to reschedule. So if it makes me think that either it was scheduled, I don't know how that would have happened. I don't know how it would have an appointment and not be in the scheduled column if it wasn't in progress or something. And that's a natural progression. Like if you started the job, you could probably undo that you started the job and take that out and revert it back. But I think once you've taken those next steps in the job, like your start, complete, invoice sent, you would have to undo all of those actions to move back. Does that make sense? It's like,
I would just archive the duplicate from the pipeline. If you don't want to see that, you're already looking at it from in a future appointment, just archive it. If you don't need it on there, that's always an option to do that. So we are out of time. I know that we have more questions. If you do still have more questions, please come to Pro Power Hour. And we will also have on Friday office hours where we can help you in the community. We'll have Super Pro office hours at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And then we will be having the main House Call Pros office hours at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So please join us there so that other pros can help you. We can help you. And don't forget, if you do not have any of these tools, we are offering a promotion on the bundle. It's 25% off for all three. Please let us know if you have any questions. If you need the links, you can email me at superpro@housecallpro.com. Thank you guys so much for being here. Take care.